When did you have to choose between keeping your job and saving a child's life? I'd barely set my bag down when a piercing scream erupted from upstairs, followed by a sickening thud that made my heart stop. I bursted into the bathroom to find 10-year-old Raina, the girl I was supposed to be babysitting, crumpled on the wet tile floor, her small body shaking with sobs. I fell and hit my head on the bathtub. It hurt so bad, she whimpered, trying to sit up but immediately swaying. I immediately called out as loud as I could, "Mr. and Mrs. Vinfield, please come quickly," but I got no response. I half-carried the girl to the living room where her parents were methodically packing their anniversary suitcases, not even glancing up as I stumbled in with their injured daughter. "Your daughter is hurt," I said urgently, but Mrs. Vinfield just rolled her eyes and snapped, "Oh please, not this again." She pulled the same stunt last year when we tried to go to Vegas. Mr. Vinfield didn't even look at his daughter as he zipped his suitcase closed, saying coldly, "Raina, stop being dramatic. The babysitter is here now, so your little show is pointless. We know you're jealous about our anniversary trip, but faking injuries is getting old." Raina tried to speak, but only managed a weak, "Mommy, please," before her mother cut her off with a dismissive wave. The next 5 minutes consisted of me begging these parents to just look at their child while they continued packing with infuriating calm. I just couldn't understand how these people were so unbothered. Wasn't she their daughter? "She's really hurt," I pleaded, showing them my hands now covered in red, but Mrs. Vinfield just grabbed her purse and said, "She's fine, just wants attention like always." When Raina's eyes started rolling back, I pulled out my phone with shaking fingers. "I'm calling 911 right now, this is serious." Mr. Vinfield's hand shot out and pushed my phone down. "Absolutely not," he said firmly. "You are forbidden from calling 911. We're not having ambulances at our house for a child throwing a tantrum." Mrs. Vinfield nodded, adding coldly, "If you call 911, we'll fire you immediately, and you'll never babysit in this neighborhood again." My hands trembled as Mr. Vinfield pulled out his wallet, counting out $300 onto the coffee table. "Here's extra for dealing with her theatrics." The door clicked shut, the car engine started, and they were gone, leaving me holding their dying daughter. The second their car turned the corner, I was already dialing 911, Raina's head lolling against my shoulder as I tried to keep her conscious. When I looked into her eyes, the pupils were different sizes. "Stay with me now," I whispered, my phone shaking in my hands as I told the operator, "A 10-year-old hit her head and she's barely conscious. Her eyes look wrong and there's red everywhere." The ambulance arrived in what felt like hours, but was probably minutes, and the paramedics took one look at Raina before rushing her onto a stretcher. I followed them, but I couldn't stop thinking about how her parents had literally ignored their bleeding daughter to go on a trip. An hour later, the doctor emerged from Raina's room with a grave expression that made my heart drop. "She had internal bleeding in her brain from the fall," she explained, her voice gentle but serious. "If you hadn't brought her in when you did, she could have died within hours." My knees went weak. Just then, Raina's weak voice floated towards us. "Please don't call my parents, they will be super mad." The doctor's eyebrows shot up as she looked between Raina and me. "What does she mean by that?" she asked slowly. I hesitated, but ended up explaining everything. How the parents had ignored her pleas, called her a liar, and left for their anniversary trip despite her obvious distress. The doctor's face darkened with each word. 2 hours later, the parents burst through the hospital doors, but not with concern, with rage. "You shameless little drama queen," Mrs. Vinfield screamed at Raina, who was still hooked up to monitors. "Do you realize you made us miss our flight? We lost our entire deposit." Mr. Vinfield's face was purple with fury. "The babysitter calls saying she took you to the hospital? This manipulation has gone too far." The doctor stepped between them and Raina's bed, her voice ice-cold professional. "Your daughter had internal brain bleeding. She nearly died." Mrs. Vinfield's response made everyone in the room freeze. "She was perfectly fine when we left. The babysitter must have done something to her." That's when I snapped, standing up with tears streaming down my face. "She was literally begging you for help. She told you she fell. She was crying and you just gave me money to deal with her theatrics." The doctor pulled out her phone. "I've already contacted Child Protective Services. They'll be here shortly." Mrs. Vinfield's face went from red to white. "You can't do that. I'll sue this hospital. I'll have your medical license." But the doctor didn't flinch, just stared at them with disgust. Within hours, Raina was placed in emergency custody with her aunt, while her parents were arrested at the hospital. I heard later that they were charged with child endangerment and medical neglect, and the $300 they'd left me became evidence of their callous abandonment.